So welcome to Paritranaya. This is day 4, right? So in the previous 3 classes, we concluded with the discussion of ancient history, previous year question paper driven, some strategy and all. So probably we covered from 2025 to 2011. 2025 to 2011 we have covered. So for time being, we'll pause it there itself. Now we have got some kind of strategy, right? When it comes to ancient history, how we are supposed to prepare. Now what I'll urge you is, I'll not urge you to stop at 2011. So whenever you have time, you just go with the previous year question papers as well. 2010, 2009, 2008 and so on till 1995. So when it comes to history, so we'll not focus on the recent years. We'll focus from 1995 to 2025. So already we have discussed it till 2011. So similarly, you apply similar kind of strategy for 2010 to 1995. Okay. The older question papers also I have shared with you, right? So you can go through that content, and after covering all the subjects, again if we get time, again we shall go back to what? The ancient history remaining part as well. But now what we'll do, now we'll switch to another subject. Okay. So now I have planned to discuss about economics. And when it comes to economics also, recent year papers are very important, but it does not mean that the past year means a decade back question paper is not important. That is also important. That will also help us to build the strategy. But at least initially we will complete around 5 to 10 years. Let's see, okay, how it happens. So next again we shall switch to some other subject. So ultimately we need to carry the confidence that we are good at all the subjects. Okay, just if there is a confidence of only polity, then that will not help us to say what crack the examination. Okay, so we need to have a hold of each and every subject. And when it comes to dynamic subjects like economics, the pattern continuously changes. Okay, the pattern continuously changes. The nature of questions, they continuously change. So we have to keep, we have to update ourselves on par with the changing exams demand. Okay, so from that perspective, we shall prepare. Okay, we should prepare. So here what we will do is, first we shall begin with the PYQs. So 2025 to 21. Okay, 25 to 21. So already the detailed discussion have taken place in the class, and few of the topics which we have missed. If you have any kind of doubts also, you can raise the doubts now itself, so that clarity is built, especially from the exam point of view. Okay. So again, we also need to know what? We have to become jack of all the subjects. We cannot become master of all the subjects. Similarly, it applies to economics as well. There will be some concepts which we will be understanding only at the superficial level. We will not be going to the deeper aspects. So where we have to stop, again we need to understand. Okay. So keeping that perspective in mind, so we shall move ahead. Okay, we shall move ahead. Okay. So in the previous class we concluded with ancient history, right? So can you recall some of the thematic aspects which are important from exam point of view? Ancient history. Indus Valley civilization. So when it comes to Indus Valley civilization, what are the various parameters that you will focus on? You will focus on sites. Next. So sites, whether you will prepare selectively or exhaustively. You will prepare exhaustively. When it comes to sites, you will prepare exhaustively. Next, apart from sites, what else you will focus? Metals. So when it comes to metals, you will focus on the metals known, and predominantly you will focus on metals not known. Next, animals. When it comes to animals, what we will focus? Animals known, especially we will focus on animals not known. Okay. Next, when it comes to known animals, again what we will focus? The animals which have been depicted on seals, and the animals which they knew but have not been depicted on the seals. Okay. So this is about animals. Next, only this much. Some of the important sculptures, where they were found, they were made up of which metals? Okay, which metals? Again, these things will focus. Next, other thematic aspects, 1 or 2, which you can recall. Taxes, foreigners. Okay, foreigners arriving to India, and to which dynasty they visited, ports. Next, Mahajanapadas, capitals, rivers flowing. Next, Buddhism, Jainism. Okay, next, personality and religion, works and author. Next, okay, at the superficial level, in some cases, not in all the cases. Okay, good. Next, emergence of dynasties. Okay, emergence of dynasties also will focus. Feudatories, who are feudatories of whom? Okay, and with respect to few of the dynasties, we'll be focusing like what, in which centuries they were active, who was the founder. Okay, so because of which king it led to the decline of which dynasty. So these are the various aspects which we shall focus. Next, when you start reading, so repeatedly you will keep those themes in your mind. Okay, mind. And next, once we start economics, it is not that you should completely ignore ancient history. Whatever we have covered in the past 3 to 4 days, so repeatedly you have to revise it. Simultaneously, you should also switch to other subject. So there are different strategies. There are some students who touch all the 8 subjects in a single day. Okay, it's practically impossible. So there are some students who will touch at least 4 subjects a day. So now again it is left to you, but at least I'll urge at least 2 subjects a day. Okay, one single subject I will complete, then I will move to the next subject. That will not be a proper strategy, and also it will be a boredom exercise. So once I have mentioned the class, right? So the Japanese definition of rest. What is the definition of rest? Change the nature of work. Okay, here also you should take some rest after reading a particular subject. So what you have to do? You have to switch to other subject. Okay, so there should be a continuous rest. So I am the person who feel like taking rest continuously. Okay, continuously. Again, there are different categories of personalities. The rest it will change, but I'll urge you to what? Take some rest. Okay, take some rest on daily basis. Okay. So next we shall move to economy. So we shall start from 2025 to 2021. Okay, 21. So few of these topics, even if we have missed during our regular discussions also, if you have any kind of doubts, you can raise those doubts. Okay, you can raise those doubts. So this is one of the question which has appeared in 2025. So almost all of you might have gone through the question and you also know the answers as well, right? Yes or no? You know the answers? Yes. Okay. So this is a question which appeared in 2025. What does the question say? With reference to investments, consider the following: bonds, hedge funds, stocks, venture capital, right? How many of the above are treated as alternative investment funds? Okay, alternative investment funds. So, first time such a question has appeared. The past 30 years, if you refer the question papers, so never such kind of question has appeared. It indicates a changing pattern. Okay, changing pattern. But whether these words, do they appear as part of the standard newspaper articles and all? They do appear on everyday basis. When you are reading a newspaper article, especially when it comes to business page article, you'll come across a term called as bond, you'll come across a term called as stock, and sometimes you also come across a term called as venture capital and also hedge funds. But many times what happens, we ignore those terms, because whatever terms we repeatedly hear, we'll focus on them, but even these terms are also important. Okay, these terms are also important. Now, as it's a new one, means there may be few aspirants who might have prepared about these, but many other aspirants, even though they have heard about the terms, but they'll not be aware of it. They'll not be aware of it. So first we need to understand what is venture capital and what is hedge funds. Okay, when you refer the previous year question papers, somewhere in 2016 or 17, in one of the options or in question, question related to venture capital has appeared. Means it's not completely a new word. Venture capital word has already appeared. So what do we understand by venture capital? Yes. Yes. Okay, whichever business they are starting, okay, a startup. So when you invest in such kind of companies, we call it as what? Venture capital. Okay, venture capital. Because we don't know whether the company is going to succeed, whether it is going to make profit. We are completely unaware of it. But still you will take the risk and you will invest. So that is called as venture capital. Okay, venture capital. Now next, similarly, when it comes to hedge funds. Okay, hedge funds. So what do we understand by the term hedge? So here, now we will not be discussing each and every term in detail, because we have already covered in the regular classes what is a hedge and what are hedge funds. So if you want complete detailed discussion, then you can refer to the class related video. Okay, hedge funds. So hedge means in order to reduce your losses. Okay, something in the form of to reduce the losses, you will use some strategy that is called as hedging. Okay, hedging. So related to that we have hedge funds. Okay, hedge funds. Now next, coming to alternative investment funds. So this term is important, alternative investment funds. So already we are aware of bond, we are aware of stock, right? So stock, what kind of instrument it is? Equity instrument or debt instrument? So we know that stock is a equity instrument and next bond is a debt instrument. So what is the basic difference between debt and equity instrument? No, it's not with respect to interest rate. In case of stock, you invest. So whether you are giving in the form of a debt, no, you are having some kind of stake, you are having some kind of ownership in the company. That is the stock. In case of bond, you are giving money. Okay, you are giving money and what earn regular interest rate. Okay, the interest, the money which you receive, the returns which you receive, it is fixed. Okay, it is fixed. So in the interest rate exists in case of what? Bond or stock? Bond. In case of stock, what do we get? Dividend. We get dividend. Okay, we get dividend. Whether dividend given every year, it's fixed or it varies. It varies. It varies based on the performance of the company. If the company performs well, then you will receive more dividend. If the company does not perform well, then probably you may not receive dividend also. Okay, you may not receive. So we already discussed when it comes to bond and stock, which one has the potential to give us more profit? Stock has the potential to give us more profit. But a fixed amount of return, which one has the potential to give? Bond. Okay, bond. So if you have the ambition to earn more, at the same time want to take risk, then you will invest in stock. Okay, that is equity. And if you want fixed return, you will invest in bond. Okay, bonds. Now, alternative investment funds. Okay, alternative investment funds. See, all the things we will not be able to discuss here, but it is some basic curiosity we need to have. So, alternative investment funds are regulated by whom? RBI, SEBI, or some other entity. Okay, so alternative investment funds are regulated by SEBI. Okay, are regulated by SEBI. Are regulated by SEBI. Now, next, what are alternative investment funds? When it comes to definition and all, I'll urge you to go through the normal classes itself. Okay, normal whatever the discussion we already made, you can go through those classes. So here, when it comes to assets, we generally classify them as traditional asset and non-traditional asset. Traditional assets and non-traditional assets. Okay, traditional assets and non-traditional assets. So whenever investment is in the non-traditional assets, we call it as alternative investment. Whenever the investment is in the non-traditional assets, we call it as alternative investment. So again, see, we are not going to detailed aspects. Just to connect to this question, whatever the superficial level aspect is required, so we are discussing about it. Now, when it comes to non-traditional asset, already you know the answer. So here, we know the answer that venture capital is considered as alternative investment fund. Hedge fund is also called as alternative investment fund. Apart from hedge capital and venture capital, which are the other investments which are considered as alternative investment fund? Okay, so in our notes I have updated it. Okay, you can just go through that content. What you have to find out here is, okay, so I am unable to recall the exact page number. You can just go through it. So there I have mentioned which all are considered as non-traditional assets, investment in non-traditional assets, and are considered as alternative investment funds. Okay, alternative investment funds. So when it comes to traditional assets, when it comes to traditional investment, already we know about bond and stock. Okay, already we know about bond and stock. In the notes I also listed the other things which are considered as traditional investment. So if I ask you one example, now we know that very famous investment fund is mutual funds. Okay, mutual funds. So from mutual funds, whether it comes under alternative investment fund or traditional investment, it is traditional investment. Okay, traditional investment. Now when it comes to, for example, infrastructure, okay, so we have discussed about terms like REITs, real estate investment trusts. Okay, infrastructure investment trusts. So when we invest there, whether it is considered as traditional investment or alternative investment, it is considered as alternative investment. See, these are the questions which you should raise, and you should try to find a solution to the same. And when you are doing this exercise, you need to know where we have to stop. We are not an economist. We are not going to prepare the entire list and try to segregate between the traditional and non-traditional. No. From this question perspective, we got to know that stock and bond, these are traditional investments, whereas venture capital and hedge funds are alternative investment funds. Apart from these, which are the other alternatives? Example, REIT. Example, infrastructure investment trust. Similarly, what you can do, gradually whatever is present in the notes, whatever is required, you just will add it, so that at the end moment, you will focus only on these aspects. Okay, you will focus only on these aspects. Okay, so based on these questions, okay, based on this question, few things we will be able to revise. Alternative investment fund, who is the regulator? They are not asked, but next step probably they may ask SEBI. So which are considered as alternative investment funds apart from hedge fund and venture capital? Okay, so which are considered as traditional investments apart from bond and stock? We are aware of mutual fund. Similarly, which are the other important entities? We list them here and we shall revise. Okay, we shall revise. So even though I have shared the notes with you, okay, I will not urge you to go through each and every line now. Okay, so your preparation should be completely question paper driven. It should be completely question paper driven. Whichever information you think is missing here and you need to add it and you want to understand, from that perspective you'll start reading the notes. Otherwise you'll stick only to this question paper driven strategy. Okay, very important, because you are expected to cover all the subjects. Okay, so in the short period of 105 days, so it will be difficult if you go through each and every line. So here important thing is what? It's not about how many books you have read. So it's about how many questions you have touched in the examination hall. Okay, that matters. So hence now it will be completely question paper driven strategy. Okay, question paper driven strategy. So with this we can completed with the first question. Okay, first question. Next. Okay. Visible, clearly visible? Okay. Those who join in online mode? Okay. So, what's this question? Which of the following are the sources of income for the Reserve Bank of India? Okay. So, buying and selling government bonds, buying and selling foreign currency, pension fund management, lending to private companies, printing and distributing currency notes. Okay. See, UPSC has asked questions on RBI many times, but this is completely a new question. So, never they have asked a question about the income sources of the RBI or the liabilities of the RBI. They asked a question about the liabilities of a normal commercial bank. They asked about the assets of a normal commercial bank, but they have never asked. Okay, they have never asked. So, again, this should guide us as to how we are supposed to prepare for the next year. Okay, for the next year. So, it means they are speaking about what? Income. Okay, income which acts as the income of the Reserve Bank of India, and that is asset kind of thing. And next, liabilities. So there in the notes also I have compiled this year and added. You can go through that list. Okay, you can go through that list. Now next, based on this question, how we are supposed to prepare? Okay, how we are supposed to prepare? Now, buying and selling of government bonds. So already we have discussed all these things. Okay, buying and selling of government bonds, buying and selling of foreign currency, pension fund management. Okay, first we shall try to find out the answer to this question. So which one you can eliminate easily? At the very first instance, which we can eliminate? Yes, we can eliminate pension fund management. See, this elimination is not based on guessing. It's based on some rational decision making, because you already know that when it comes to pension fund, who is a regulator? PFRDA, Pension Fund Regulatory and Development Authority of India. So it regulates it. So pension fund management and RBI, they do not have any kind of relationship. So because here we have PFRDA. Okay. So here, this is strategy. Means we are not interested in elimination, random elimination at all. We want to eliminate based on some strategy. We know that pension fund management is managed by PFRDA. Okay, PFRDA. Next, which one you can eliminate next? Yes. See, fifth one is too much technical. It's too much technical actually. Okay, later on we'll understand. But easily, which one we can eliminate? We can eliminate
lending to private companies.
Lending to private companies. This is very important. Whether RBI lends to private companies? Okay. Now that thought process has to be triggered. What is that? Then whether RBI is involved in lending process or not? Yes? Yes or no? Yes. To whom it will lend? Banks. To banks it will lend. Okay. To banks it will lend, and the phenomena, the feature of lending to the banks is called as, yes, through repo and all, that is the what process. Okay. So we have used a technical word called as lender of last resort. Okay, the lender of last resort term has appeared. If you refer to the previous year question papers, somewhere the term has appeared, the lender of last resort. From this we understand that, so RBI can lend to banks. Okay, banks. Now see, we need to know where we have to stop. Sometimes what happens, when we get a clue of some question, then we will dig deeper. Whether RBI can lend to scheduled commercial banks, whether RBI can lend to cooperative banks, whether RBI can lend to NBFCs. So this exercise we will not do. Just we will stop here itself. Yes, RBI can lend to banks. Okay. Next year when the nature of the question paper evolves, at that time we will go to the next level. Until then we will stop here itself. Yes, RBI can lend to banks. So whether RBI will lend only to banks? How about government? Whether RBI will lend to government? Yes. That you have to cross verify. This is a question to you. Okay. Whether RBI can lend only to banks or also it can lend to government. If it is lending to the government, whether it can lend to central government or it can lend also to state government as well. Okay, state government as well. So these are the questions which we have to raise based on the options. Okay, based on the options, and also you will not do a PhD here. See, sometimes when you start searching for information, you will not get the information very easily. So you will not get stuck here itself. See, ultimately our goal is to maximize the yield in the examination. So that does not mean that we are going to waste our precious time just on one question. Just I am giving you a clue. So here we got to know that lending to private companies is not the job of RBI. RBI is not involved here. We got to know that it gives what loans to banks. Okay, how about others? So 1 or 2 you will find out. Okay, now what you will do, whether central government and state government, 1 or 2 entities, you will just add it here. Okay. Now what you did, you eliminated 2 options. Which are the options? You eliminated 3, you eliminated 4, you eliminated 3, you eliminated 4, right? You are left with only 2 options, 1 and 2 only, 1, 2 and 5. Okay. Now in both A and D, so 1 and 2 are common. So it means 1 and 2 are part of the answer. Now our question is whether the 5th option, printing and distributing currency notes, whether it's a source of income or not. For this, the notes will come into picture. So in notes, I segregated what? The assets and liabilities, okay, for commercial bank, the sources of income and the expenditure, sources of income and expenditure I have segregated. So if we look there, the important component of expenditure is printing of notes and remittance of notes. Remittance means once you print, you have to distribute the notes to the banks. That's called as remittance of notes. So both of them, they come under RBI's expenditure. See, these things will initially cause us confusion. How it will be an expenditure? It should be an income. So there are so many questions which will arise in us. Now you just don't go to a deeper level. You just understand that printing of notes and remittance of notes is what? It's a expenditure. Okay, it's a expenditure. So currency notes, printing and distribution of currency notes, it's a expenditure. So if it is an expenditure, can it become income for Reserve Bank of India? Obviously no. So I will eliminate 5 as well. So we are left with only only one option, 1 and 2. Okay, 1 and 2. So now we arrived at the answer. But have you understood the concept completely? Okay, if you have not understood the concept completely, we'll go back to few of the topics. The first option, buying and selling of government bonds. So can RBI buy and sell government bonds? Yes or no? Can you give me an example where RBI buys the government bonds and sells the government bonds? Treasury bills, right? So treasury bills RBI buys? Okay, the next question, see, later on you can just find out. I will not give you a complete picture here. Whether RBI can buy and sell government securities in primary market or secondary market? See, we have discussed about a term called as what? A deficit monetization. Okay, if you are not present in that class, you can just go back and you can watch that video. Okay, deficit monetization related video. So previously RBI used to participate in the primary market and purchase government bonds. But now RBI will not participate in the primary market and purchase government bonds. RBI will participate in the secondary market and it will buy and sell government bonds. Okay, it will buy and sell government bonds. Okay, buy and sell government bonds. So this is very important. Now definitely, generally in the secondary market, who all can participate? Banks can participate. Okay, so there RBI can also participate and buy and sell. But now see here, I have just given you extra information. Buying and selling of government bonds, where? Primary market or secondary market? I will just raise a question. You have to find out a solution. So whether in primary market, I will keep it as a question mark. In secondary market, I will keep it as a question mark. I already said that they can participate in secondary market. How about primary market? No. Okay, again now we will not dig deeper. Why they cannot participate? When the time arises, at that time we shall have a discussion. Otherwise you can watch the video related to deficit monetization. So until then what we can understand here is buying and selling of government bonds. So in secondary market RBI can participate, and as a result of this it will make some profit. It will buy at 100 rupees, it will sell at 110 rupees, it will make a profit of 10 rupees. So that will become an income of RBI. Income of RBI. Next, buying and selling of foreign currency. So can RBI buy and sell foreign currency? Yes. Why does it buy and sell foreign currency? What is the ultimate motto? To make profit? No? So what is the ultimate goal? To arrest the currency depreciation. Okay. So why does currency depreciate? Indian currency, why does it depreciate? Whenever the dollar price increases, okay, there is a lot of demand for the dollar. Okay, when there is a lot of demand for the dollar, what happens? The price of the dollar will increase in the open market. So the importers of India will face a lot of problem because imports will become costlier if the dollar's demand increases. Now what happens? RBI, whatever it has stored in the form of forex reserves, so it will bring out the forex reserves and it will sell the dollars in the open market, right? So when it will buy the dollars from the open market? when when dollar is costly or when it is available cheaply?
Cheaply.
Okay, when it is available in a cheaply, at that time it will purchase dollars, and when the currency crisis takes place, RBI will sell the dollars in the open market. So when it will buy and sell, whether during selling the major motto is profit? No, it is economic stability. But even though there is a motto of economic stability, at least some small amount of profit RBI will make. Yes, that small amount of profit will become as a what? Expenditure of RBI or source of income for RBI? Source of income for RBI. Okay, source of income for RBI. See, so this is how you are supposed to prepare. When a question appears, just answer easily we can get, because every institution will release the answer. We are not interested in answer, we are interested in its background, how the things are connected, how the question can be framed in the upcoming year. So accordingly, how we can update our content. Okay, how we can update our knowledge. Okay, so this is about the second question which has appeared in. Yes?
Sir, which one is the income of RBI?
Printing and distributing currency notes, it's the income of RBI? Hey, no. No. I think we have discussed it as a expenditure of RBI. Expenditure of RBI. You can just cross verify once. Okay, you can cross verify once. So it comes under the what? Expenditure of RBI, not income of RBI. So there we have discussed under two heads. One is expenditure, another one is not liability. Expenditure, another one is income. Okay, expenditure and income. Okay, income. So here we have printing and distribution of currency notes. We have classified it under expenditure. Okay. Again, anyhow, you can go through the content. Again, if you have doubts, you can raise the doubts. So more the doubts you will raise, so I can also uplift myself, and at the same time, that conceptual clarity will be built in you as well. Okay, you as well.
In textbook, it is given 1, 2 and 5. In textbook app.
Okay, we will cross verify. Okay, now we will not go into each and every site and we try to see it. But now I think it's 1 and 2. Okay, 1 and 2. So in the notes, what I have shared, it's 1 and 2 or what? Just check it once.
1 and 2.
1 and 2.
Third and expenditure.
Third one. What's the answer? It's expenditure, right? It's expenditure. It's not a source of income for the RBI. Okay. So see, during the regular discussion of class, even if some mistakes might have taken place, but now it's a time to rectify. If you have committed any kind of mistake, we shall rectify it. But I think it's 1 and 2. Okay, 1 and 2. When it comes to that website, we'll just cross verify. We'll cross verify through multiple websites, because as per the means understanding, it should be 1 and 2 itself. Okay, 1 and 2 itself.
Paritranaya IAS super kalam already D ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ 1.5 ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ
1, 2 and 5 you have given. We'll cross verify. Okay, so it's not necessary that always they should be right. Okay, we have prepared it from the authentic source, so let's have a confidence on that content. But anyhow, now let's not be overconfident. Okay, we should cross verify it. Next, consider the following statements. The Reserve Bank of India mandates all the listed companies in India to submit a business responsibility and sustainability report. In India, a company submitting a BRSR makes disclosures in report that are largely non-financial in nature. Okay, in nature. So this is a typical question based on current affairs. Okay, so this report, it does not regularly appear in the newspaper. Unlike few other reports which regularly appear, it does not appear in the newspaper. So how to tackle such kind of questions if we have not prepared? Okay, so when we go to examination, again, we are not sure that we are going to answer all the 15 questions of economy. There are some questions which we are going to miss. The previous question which we discussed, that question we are not going to miss, but because it's like a static part. Always the printing and all those things, they are going to become the expenditure of RBI itself. But here it's a dynamic question. Okay, it's a dynamic question. Then such kind of dynamic questions, many times we'll build approach, but again, there are chances that in the actual examination hall, we may end up marking a wrong choice. Okay, wrong choice. But here at least the Reserve Bank of India mandates all the listed companies in India to submit a business responsibility and sustainability report. So when it comes to what businesses and submitting of reports and all, so generally RBI will not be involved. When it comes to RBI, it is only involved in the managing of banks, regulating of banks, regulating of non-banking financial companies. But when it comes to companies, generally it will be what? Ministry of what? Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Okay, Ministry of Corporate Affairs. So here, first, based on this general logic, we'll eliminate this first one. Okay, we'll eliminate this first one. See, again, this is not a proper exact strategy, but sometimes we have to take the risk, we have to frame the strategy as well. So here, it will not be Reserve Bank of India. It will be Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Okay, Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Next, in India, a company submitting a BRSR makes disclosures in the report that are largely non-financial in nature. So if we are completely unaware of it, then we will not be able to answer this question. So after this, once this question paper having a discussion or previous year given, when we prepare the content, we get to know that yes, it is true, because this business responsibility and sustainability report, it deals with what all aspects? Apart from the financial, it deals with other aspects. For example, environmental aspects, okay, social aspects, okay, it focuses on social aspects, it does not focus on financial aspects, okay, financial aspects. So in this session, second one is true, okay, second one is true. Now the same question is not going to repeat in 2026, but what we should be aware is when we are going through the content. Now see, when it comes to current affairs, now probably I may make a comparison from Press Information Bureau. So when I share that content, at least 1 or 2 lines superficial information you should know. Okay, superficial information. That is, this report deals with what? It is released by whom? Okay, released by whom? So it's a completely current affairs based question. So keeping this in mind, we shall prepare subsequently from the current affairs point of view. And even if we have prepared and from the prepared material, if the question does not appear, if a completely new question appears, then there are chances that we may miss the question also. Okay, because our approach is not 100%. Our approach is 50 to 60%. Because our goal is to score 140 plus. So what's the goal? Our goal is 100. Okay, we just want 100. Rest, whatever the extra marks we get, we shall just surrender it to Lord. Okay, so it's because of you we have got it. Please take it. Okay, so the font is clearly visible. Those who are joining online mode. Okay, okay. So next question. Consider the following. In India, income from agricultural activities like poultry, farming and wool rearing in rural areas is exempted from any tax. Okay. In India, rural agricultural land is not considered a capital asset under the provisions of the Income Tax Act 1961. Which one of the following is correct in respect of the above statements? Okay. So here, rather than just jumping to the answer, what is true and what is false, we have to go into its background. That is very important. Okay, so we need to understand what is the theme behind that question, means what they are focusing. Okay, what they are focusing. Now they have mentioned about some technical words called as Income Tax Act. Okay, Income Tax Act. Next, capital asset. Capital asset, rural agricultural land. Next, exempted from any tax. Okay, allied agricultural activities. Okay, allied. So there are various terms which we are supposed to focus. See here, every year this Income Tax Act, it gets amended. Income Tax Act, even though it is passed in 1961, every year through which act? Through Finance Act, it gets amended. Okay, it gets amended. All the tax slabs and everything is fixed. So in the previous content, this was missing. This year I have updated. I included the salient features of the Income Tax Act. Okay, again, we are not an economist, will not be able to go through each and every line of the Income Tax Act, but from a aspirant's perspective, from general knowledge perspective, so I have compiled the income tax related few of the important salient features. Okay, salient features. Now first is, we need to understand what are capital assets and what are not considered as capital assets. Okay, so there I have made a list. Later on you can go through it. Now it's audible? Hello? Okay. So there what I have made a list of capital asset and the things which are not considered as capital asset under the Income Tax Act. Okay, under the Income Tax Act. So again, each and every line is not important. Now I have mentioned whether this board is considered as a capital asset. Okay. Now if the same kind of board, if I use in my home to watch a movie, will it be considered as a capital asset? Okay, from this perspective, I have compiled the content. Again, I am not asking you to go through each and every line. I am just giving you some clue about how we can prepare. Okay, so there are some exceptions. In a house, you have your own vehicle, you have a car. So will it be considered as a capital asset? Okay, if anything is considered as a capital asset and you sell it, whatever the profit you make out of it, you have to pay the capital gains tax. So when you sell your old car and the money which you get, do you pay capital gains on top of it? No. Okay, you will not pay capital gains tax. Okay, now next, let's assume you have land in the urban area. Okay, so you have brought it for 20 lakhs. Next, you will sell it for 30 lakhs. So what is the capital gain that you have made? So whether when you sell it, whatever the profit you make, should you pay the you should pay the capital gains tax or not? You should pay the capital. See, this is the basic entity which we shall focus. When I purchase the land in the urban area and after making profit, when I try to sell it, so the profit which you make, can it be called as capital gains or not? Yes. When you purchase a car and you sell it, second-hand car, whatever the profit you make, will you pay capital gains tax? No, it is not considered as a capital asset. Now in your house, for some kind of social ceremonies like marriage and all, you have purchased some jewelry. Will it be considered as a capital asset or not?
Capital asset.
Now when it comes to car, when you sell it, whatever the profit you make, you are not going to pay any kind of tax. When it comes to jewelry, you will sell it and you will make some profit. Should you pay any kind of capital gains tax or not?
No.
I will not tell you the answer, you have to search it. Okay. See, these are the thought processes in which direction you are supposed to think. Means this is a question, directly will not jump to the answer. What we will do is, in the notes also you can go through, if the content is missing, you will search in the internet later on. What you will do, which are considered as capital assets and which are not considered as capital assets under the Income Tax Act. Okay, under the Income Tax Act. So this information you will search. Okay, you will search, and when you are doing this exercise, don't do it exhaustively. How about pen? How about paper? Okay, how about the utensils in the home? How about the television? Okay, how about when I am traveling from Bagalkot to Vidyagiri? No. See, again we need to know where we have to stop. Okay. So in India, rural agriculture land. Next, one important exception here is rural agricultural land. What is the opposite of rural agricultural land? Urban agricultural land. So if a agricultural land exists in rural area and when such a land is sold, okay, so whatever the profit, whatever the money a person gets, should he pay the taxes? No, he need not pay the taxes. Means there is no taxation on it. It is exempted under the Income Tax Act. Okay, it is exempted under the Income Tax Act. Now, first level of exploration, what I will do. So he has mentioned rural agricultural land. How about urban agricultural land? Whether it is also exempted or not? Yes, it is not exempted. Okay, it's not exempted. So, in rural agricultural land is exempted from the purview of Income Tax Act. Income Tax Act does not apply to what rural agricultural land, but it applies to urban agricultural land. Okay. In rural area, non-agricultural land, the land which is used to construct your house, so whether that can be subjected to income tax or not? Obviously, it should be yes. Okay, it should be yes. In urban area, non-agricultural land, obviously there should be a, so these are the basic. In the first round, what you will do, you will stop here itself. But when you complete the entire economics, in the second round, what you will do, we are only focused on agricultural lands and assets. How about the other things? Then you will go to this term. Which one is considered as capital asset under the Income Tax Act? Which capital asset is exempted from the taxation under the Income Tax Act? So all these things will focus. Okay, will focus. Now next, when it comes to agricultural activity, okay, agricultural activity, so it is exempted from income tax. Okay, it is exempted from income tax. Next question is, when it comes to agriculture, who has the power to tax it? Central government or state government? See here, when it comes to these subjects, we shall connect it from multiple perspectives, not only from economics point of view, also from polity point of view. Agriculture falls under which list? State list, right? So when it comes to state list, who has the power to levy the tax? State government. Okay, state government. So state government, if it wants, it can levy tax on agriculture as well. Okay, agriculture as well. So here, okay, agriculture, but from the Income Tax Act, agriculture is what? Exempted. From the Income Tax Act, agriculture is exempted. But at the same time, allied agricultural activities, when it comes to poultry, farming, wool rearing, dairying and all those things, they are not exempted from the Income Tax Act. Okay, very important. So they are not exempted from the Income Tax Act. It means taxation exists. Okay, only for basic agricultural, whatever the crops and all they grow. So for that there is no income tax. But for the allied agricultural activities, there is a tax. Okay, there is a tax. So now we can conclude that the first statement, in India, income from allied agricultural activities is exempted from any tax. True or false? It's false. Okay. In India, rural agricultural land is not considered an asset under the provisions of the Income Tax Act 1961.
Yes.
It's true. So what's the statement? What's the answer? Statement 1 is not correct, but statement 2 is correct. Correct.
So second-hand vehicles for other also.
Now you have to search. Everything if I tell, then how we will be able to move to the next question. I just given you an idea. What are the various dimensions in which you can think? Okay. See, again, I just given you an idea does not mean that you have to go through each and every question. It's not required actually. So the upcoming year in 2026. So if probably such kind of questions do appear, then how you are supposed to tackle? Okay. And UPSC generally it focuses on what? Agriculture, women, children. From that perspective, they asked a question. Okay. Very important. Again, that second hand, if you want, you can search it. Otherwise, even if you skip also, it is okay. Okay. It is okay. Yes. Yes, when it comes to central gains tax, capital gains tax, it is part of the what? Income Tax Act itself. Okay. Yeah, it is. It comes under central government itself. It comes under central government. So those who are joining online mode, whether it's visible, statements are visible, clearly visible. Okay. So here consider the following statements. As regards the returns from an investment in a company, generally bondholders are considered to be relatively at lower risk than stockholders. Okay. So already they have given the statement. So see here, you are not going to verify whether the statement, again depends upon the question. Not statement 3 is correct, only one of the statements 2 and 3 both. Okay. These kind of questions which have appeared in 2025. So already the first statement is correct. This is the assumption. Okay, this is the assumption. But already we know about it. So the first statement, whether it is right or wrong.
Right.
As regards returns from an investment in a company, so bondholders are considered to be relatively at a lower risk than stockholders. Why? See here, same the bond and stock, these terms in the same year, twice they appeared. In the first question where we discussed about the alternative investment funds, there also the terms appeared, and here also the terms have appeared. Okay. So why investment bondholders are considered to be at relatively lower risk than stockholders?
Stock means dividends per
Stock means dividend. If the company performs well, then you will get more returns. But if a company suffers losses, then whatever the investment you have made, that will also go in vain. Whereas in case of bond, okay, so whatever the interest the company is supposed to pay, it has to pay. Okay, it has to pay. Either it has to sell all its assets, and it has to pay back the what? Debt with interest. Okay, debt with interest. Now the options which they have given: bondholders are lenders to the company, whereas stockholders are its owners. Obviously, when you purchase a stock, you will get a stake in the company. You become a owner, whereas it's a lender. You will give money, you will get interest. Okay, you'll get interest. Next, for repayment purpose, bondholders are prioritized over stockholders by a company. So this requires a knowledge. If you read the newspaper regularly, you will understand that even when the case goes to court also, okay, when liquidation takes place, when you are giving back the money, so the first the money will go to whom? Money will go to bondholders, and after that if the money is left, then it will be given to shareholders. Okay, so statement 3 is also correct, statement 2 is also correct. So whether both of them explain statement or only one of them explains statement 1. Okay, so bondholders are lenders to a company, hence they are at a lesser risk compared to stockholders. This also explains statement 1. Similarly, for repayment purpose, they will get money on priority basis. So this statement also explains statement 1. So here the answer is both.
are correct and both
Statement 2 and 3 are correct, and both of them explain statement 1. So here I think there's a slight mistake in the option itself. Both 2 and 3 are correct, and they explain statement 1. Okay. Now next this question. Consider the following statements. India accounts for a very large portion of all equity option contracts traded globally, thus exhibiting a great boom. Okay. India's stock market has grown rapidly in the recent past, even overtaking Hong Kong at some point of time. There is no regulatory body either to warn the small investors about the risks of options trading or to act on unregistered financial advisors in this regard. Okay. So this question, if you do not have a proper strategy, then the preparation for the upcoming 2026, it will be very difficult. Okay, it will be very difficult. First, India accounts for a very large portion of all equity option contracts. Okay, so those who are into the share market, they are very well aware of these terms called as what? Equity, options, futures and all those things. But generally, we are prepared, but not to that extent. But this year we will be preparing. Okay, we will be preparing. So at least from this year, we need to know what is equity. Equity already we know. What is option contract? What is future contract? All those things are included in the notes. Okay, if you have time, you can go through that content. Although also you can go through our previous videos as well. Okay, videos as well. India's stock market, again, great boom. What is this boom term? We need to understand what is a boom. When something is performing well, we call it as boom, or if it is not performing, then we call it as a boom. Performing well, we call it as a boom. India's stock market has grown rapidly in the recent past, overtaking Hong Kong at some point of time. So we don't know. Even if you ever refer current affairs also, many times we will not be aware of it. Okay, it's true or false. But the major key point here is the third one. Because not every day it will not appear, but once in a while in the newspaper, especially in the business page, so they'll mention about how the retailers are facing losses. Okay, facing losses because of an investment. In what kind of investment? Options trading. Okay, so on day-to-day basis, people, they'll lose their money by involving themselves in options trading. Now, even though if you are not aware of options trading also, what we should be aware here is no regulatory body to either warn the small investors. So this is wrong. Okay, so this is completely wrong. Why? Because which is the organization which regularly warns? Yes, CBI. This is very important. Securities and Exchange Board of India, it warns the retail investors. So it will warn that don't invest in options trading, because 90% of the people who have invested, they will face the losses. Okay, they will face the losses. So this is the key point to eliminate. So once you get to know that third one is wrong, so you will eliminate 3. You are left with only one choice, that is 1 and 2 only. You are not aware of first and second option, but still you are able to arrive at the answer. Now here comes the strategy, means how we have to align ourselves with the exam's demand. In the same question, if they had framed the options like this, how many of the above are correct? Only 1, only 2, all 3, none. If these options were there, then what would be the strategy? Okay, so you need to know that in such kind of questions, UPSC is not going to frame such kind of options. In such kind of questions, UPSC is not going to frame such kind of options. How many of the above are correct? Because here they want you to eliminate the third one. Okay, so this is called as what? Placing ourselves on par with the exam's demand. Now what happens in some other cases, in some of the test series, they'll start framing such kind of options. When they start framing such kind of options, how many of the above are correct? Now what he will do? So whether India has overtaken only Hong Kong, or it has even overtaken Japan, it has overtaken USA, it has overtaken Singapore. See, all these things you'll start doing a compilation. That is not going to benefit. So in UPSC, I'm very much sure they are not going to frame such kind of question. How many of the above are correct? They are not going to frame such kind of question, such kind of options for this question. Okay, for this question. So previously we discussed, for example, when it comes to which of the following, how many of the above are considered as alternative investment funds. So what kind of options existed? Only 1, only 2, all 3, or what kind of options existed? Just go through that.
Only 1, only 3, all the 4.
All the 4. So there they can set such kind of options. There they can set such kind of options. But here they will not set such kind of options. Next, the second one, which we discussed about the RBI. RBI is what?
Buying and selling.
That is sources of income. There also they can set such kind of questions. How many of the above are correct? But here they are not going to set such kind of options. So for 2026 also, you are not going to focus on this first and second option. You will only focus on the third one. Yes, there is an entity called as SEBI, which wants the retail investors from being aware of what? Options trading. Okay, options trading. Now out of this context, what we will do, we will just try to learn what is options, what is futures. So already we have discussed in our regular classes. So if you are not watched those videos, I'll urge you to go back to those videos. Even if you skip also, it is okay. Okay, it is okay. So we need to understand what is options, what is what futures. And the important thing from this question, what we are supposed to understand here is SCBI is the agency which wants the retail investors. Okay, investors. Okay. So next, consider the following statements. Circular economy reduces the emission of greenhouse gases. Okay. Circular economy reduces the use of raw materials as inputs. Circular economy reduces wastage in the production process. Which of the following is correct in respect of the above statements? Okay, above statements. Now, everywhere you will find the answer. What's the answer? Yes. Both statement 2 and 3 are correct, and they correctly explain statement 1. Just if we memorize the what answers, that is not going to help us. So previous year driven, we need to understand the terms. What is circular economy? Yes, recycling. So the important aspect of circular economy is recycling. Now the first statement itself, they have assumed it is true. It reduces the emission of greenhouse gases. Can you tell me how the recycling will help us to reduce the greenhouse gases? Okay. So if we take, for example, which component?
Burning of used products will lead to.
We lead to, yes, burning of used products can also lead to emission of greenhouse gases. Okay. Next, one more. Yes. Paper reuse. Okay. So paper, now rather than burning the paper, okay, if you recycle it, again it can be utilized. So in this fashion, you can reduce the greenhouse gases. Also, if you take some other example, for example, lithium ion battery. Okay. If you are not recycling, then again you have to go for the mining of which minerals? Cobalt, lithium. Okay, so again when it comes to mining activities, so mining activities will indirectly contribute to greenhouse gases. Okay, so we got to know that circular economy reduces the emission of greenhouse gases. Second, circular economy reduces the use of raw materials as inputs. True or false? What do we understand by raw materials? Means directly from mining itself we are going to use the raw materials. Okay, so whether circular economy reduces the use of raw materials as inputs? Example. So as you mentioned, that book publishing industry itself. So rather than using fresh papers which have been extracted from the pulp of the some tree and all, so what we can use? We can use the recycled papers. So now when you use recycled papers, what happens? So reduces the use of raw material as inputs. So raw materials, for example, tree pulp and all. Okay, so you will reduce it. So 2 is correct. So whether this contributes to the reduction of the greenhouse gases? Yes, obviously. So lesser number of trees you will cut. So lesser emission of greenhouse gases. Okay, greenhouse gases. Now third one, circular economy reduces the wastage in production process. Yes or no? What do you understand by production process? Okay, so in the production process, again if you compare the same raw inputs, now again if you take the paper industry itself, from some kind of wood pulp and all you will extract, you will prepare paper and all. Rather than doing this, if you are just recycling the existing paper, that is production process. So that also indirectly contributes to what? Reduction in the emission of greenhouse gases. So in this fashion, if you should be able to connect multiple different examples to convince yourself that both these options are correct. Okay, so circular economy reduces the use of raw materials, correct? Because of this, reduces the emission of greenhouse gases. Similarly, circular economy reduces wastage in the production process. Yes, it will use the old papers itself. It will not use the pulp of the new tree. So again, this will reduce the emission of greenhouse gases. Okay, greenhouse gases. So here, see, multiple concepts they have clubbed together. If you try to segregate this question explicitly into economics, then it will not be possible. So can this question be also classified as part of environment as well? Yes, it is also connected to environment as well. So here, both the options are correct, and both of them they explain statement 1 correctly. Okay, correctly. So sometimes even after having discussion also, it will be difficult for us to connect. So what you will do, you will try to find out different kind of examples where you will get convinced that both the second option and third options are correct, and they properly indicate, point to the first option. Okay, first option. Okay, so the next question, consider the following statements. Capital receipts create a liability or cause the reduction in the assets of the government. Borrowing and disinvestment are capital receipts. Interest received on loans create a liability of the government. Okay, liability of the government. So already we have discussed all these concepts in detail, right? So we have discussed about the capital receipts. So when this question appears, so we should be able to revise all those things. So we know capital receipts. Which are the other types of receipt? Revenue receipt. Okay, revenue receipt. Next, we also have capital expenditure. We have revenue expenditure, right? So if I recall any of the expenditures, we should be able to classify it into either capital expenditure or revenue expenditure. So whatever the spending happens with respect to the construction of the road, capital expenditure. Salary, subsidy, interest, loan repayment. Okay, loan repayment, it is capital. Okay, interest that you pay, that is revenue. Okay, again, see all those things we should be able to revise. Now we'll get confused. Okay, even after repeatedly going through the content also we get confused. So here the basic clarity is capital receipt, capital expenditure, revenue receipt, revenue expenditure. But when it comes to capital receipt, again we have classified it into two types, if you can recall. Which are they? Debt creating capital receipt and non-debt creating capital receipt. So in case of revenue receipt, have we classified like debt creating, non-debt creating? No. In case of revenue receipts, we have classified it into what? Tax based or non-tax based. Okay, when it comes to receipts, so what? Revenue receipts, tax based and non-tax based. Can you give an example of a tax based revenue receipt? Income tax. Okay, non-tax based revenue receipt, fees. Okay, fees is an example of non-tax based revenue receipt. When it comes to capital receipt, can you give an example of a non-debt capital receipt? Disinvestment. We have discussed. Again, we are not going to discuss in detail what is disinvestment. So we have discussed that disinvestment is an example of what? Non-debt capital receipt. So what is an example of debt capital receipt? Loan which the government takes. For example, it may be from the bank or it may be by selling government securities. Okay, it may be by selling government securities. So it will be in the form of a loan. Okay, loan. So loan may be by from the bank or by selling government securities. So this basic idea we need to have. Next, capital receipts create a liability. Okay, capital receipts create a liability or cause a reduction in the asset of the government. First statement is true or false?
First one, the first page is correct. Reduction in the asset of
See here, all these things you have discussed previous year also, but that understanding level, how we have understood, that is very important. So capital receipts create a liability. Liability means something you have to pay it back. Okay. Now capital receipts we have classified into debt receipt and non-debt receipt. Okay, debt receipt and non-debt receipt. Now this debt receipt is there, right? You have to repay back whatever the loan you have taken. You have to give it back. So capital receipts create a liability. Yes, it creates a liability. It creates a liability. When it comes to debt receipts, it creates a liability. Next, will it cause the reduction in the asset of the government? Yes. So when we go for disinvestment, let's assume, so some HAL company is there, so government will sell some of its shares. Okay, it will get money. What kind of money? Debt receipt or non-debt receipt? Non-debt receipt. So here also the government will get money, but what happens to government? The government's stake in the HAL will come down. So that is second one. Cause the reduction in the assets of the government. So it was having more assets. Now the assets have been reduced. So first statement is correct. So in order to draw a inference or conclusion that the statement is correct, so we need to understand with the help of an example, we should be able to connect it. Okay, we should be able to connect it. So again, if you have any kind of confusion, you can go back to our budget related classes where we have discussed about the revenue receipt, capital receipt, next revenue expenditure, capital expenditure in detail. Okay, in detail, where we also discussed about the various different types of examples as well. So one is correct. Okay, now see here, in the examination actually this question is very easy. Even whether you know first one or second one, it will not make a difference. If you go to directly third one, interest received on loans create a liability of the government. See here, now central government, it has given a loan to, let's assume, Karnataka state government. Now Karnataka state government, every month it will pay interest to central government. Okay, 1 lakh rupees or 2 lakh rupees, whatever. So once you get the amount, central government will get the amount. Should it return back to the Karnataka state government? No, it is getting interest. So it will become what?
Asset.
It will become an asset. They have mentioned that interest received on loans creates a liability. No, it becomes an asset. So if you eliminate third one, you are left with only one option, 1 and 2 only. But we will not stop here itself. We will try to understand the options. Whether first one is correct? Yes. For what reason? With the help of this example, we can connect that the first statement is right. Okay. Next, borrowing and disinvestment are capital receipts. Yes or no? Yes. So borrowing, what kind of receipt it is? Debt creating capital receipt or non-debt? Debt. Disinvestment, non-debt creating capital receipt. This question is actually very easy. Those who understood the economic concepts properly in 2025, they should be able to answer this question very confidently. So this is a static part. Okay, this is static part. Now see what happens is, now recently budget has been proposed and before that economic survey report has been released. There are so many videos being released on budget and economic survey. So all the aspirants will run behind those videos and they will run behind more content. See here, whatever the notes I have compiled here, if you just go through this content, it is more than sufficient. You need not go through the economic survey of 2026 and also budget. Okay, there may be some extra schemes. Probably in the upcoming days, those extra schemes, if I get time, then I may discuss. But just for 1 or 2 schemes, you are not going to go through the economic survey and budget of 2026. I am not saying that they are not important. They are important, but we should also take into account the cost benefit ratio. How much time you are going to devote, how much marks you are going to get in the examination. Already the important terms which appear in the economic survey, in budget, fiscal deficit, revenue deficit, all those things have been covered in the notes itself. So you need not refer it. Okay, you need not refer it. At least till May 24th. After May 24th, again you are a free bird. Not only these things, if you want to read any kind of novels also you can read. But these 3 months, the time is very, very precious. Every minute of your time that you are going to invest, it should yield some marks. So if it is not going to yield some marks, then you are not going to invest your time. Okay. So these things should be very, very clear. Because in the end moment, what happens? Because of the peer pressure, because we get exposed to some new kind of information. So you make contact with some of your other friends who are staying in some metropolitan cities and they are reading so many books and you feel that you are isolated. Probably we do not have a proper strategy. So we too should refer those books. We too should purchase those books. So all such kind of thoughts will start bombarding you. But now, so please trust me, for these 3 months, you don't refer any other content. You just stick to this content. Because at the end, the moment you will realize that you will not be able to complete even this basic information also. Okay, so let's take into account that reality. Okay, then itself we shall proceed. Okay, so now you need not worry about economic survey and budget. Whatever we have compiled in the content, that is more than sufficient. Okay, sufficient. But in this context, you revise all the budget related things. Okay, budget related things. See here. This is very interesting question which appeared in 2025. There are 2 questions which have appeared. And in the previous year notes, it exists. The formula it existed, we also discussed. But how we are going to apply in the examination, that matters. Okay, that matters. So suppose the revenue expenditure is 80,000 crores and the revenue receipts of the government are 67 crores. The government budget also shows borrowings of 10,000 crores and interest payments of 6,000 crores. Which of the following statement is correct? Okay, correct. So revenue deficit is 20,000 crore, fiscal deficit is 10,000 crore, primary deficit. Okay. So what is the formula for revenue deficit?
Expenditure minus.
Which expenditure? Total expenditure minus total income? Revenue expenditure minus revenue receipt. Okay, revenue receipt. So in this example, have they given about revenue expenditure? Yes, they have clearly mentioned. It is 80k minus revenue receipt is 60k. So it is 20k. So what is the answer? 20k. So first option is perfect. Okay, first option is perfect. There is no doubt in it. Fiscal deficit is 10,000 crore. So here the trick exists. Because when you start referring to other sources, they are not given that clarity. Okay, that they are not given that clarity. But the previous year notes also, in this year notes also, we have that clarity. What is the formula for fiscal deficit? Total expenditure minus revenue receipts plus non-debt capital receipts, okay, total expenditure minus revenue receipt plus non-debt capital receipt, okay. So whatever the debt capital receipt is will come, that itself is what? Fiscal deficit. Means there is a shortage of money, that much money you are going to borrow, okay, that much money you are going to borrow, okay, borrow. So if I add here debt creating capital receipt, then what happens?
Total deficit.
Okay, this value will become 0. Why this value will become 0? Whatever the shortage is there, you are borrowing it, you will add it, then it will become 0. Okay, sorry, if I subtract minus here, if I do it minus here, not minus, sorry, I made a mistake here. Okay, just ignore this, okay. So total expenditure minus revenue receipt plus non-debt capital receipt. So if, what does debt capital receipt mean here? Means when you subtract this, let's assume you will get a value of 1 lakh rupees. So what does this 1 lakh mean? Means 1 lakh rupees I have to borrow. That 1 lakh rupees will come from which source? Debt, in the form of debt. Okay, I'll take loan. Hence, this is not included. Okay, if you are getting confused also, later on you can do this exercise. So the formula is total expenditure minus revenue receipt plus non-debt capital receipt. In our example, what they are given? They are given total expenditure. It is 80,000. So they are not given like what? Capital expenditure and all. They are just focused on revenue. They are not given capital. So here in this total expenditure, they are given only what? Revenue expenditure. Okay, they are given about revenue receipt. So have they mentioned about non-debt capital receipt? The government budget also shows borrowings of 10,000 crores. See, borrowing comes under what?
Non-debt.
Yes.
Capital assets also.
Debt. The government budget also shows borrowings of 10,000 crores and interest payment of 6,000 crores. So which of the following statements are correct? Just a minute. Fiscal deficit is equal to total expenditure minus here the okay. So here they are not given about this value itself. They are not given about this value. Now here they are given about 10,000 crores. What is this 10,000 crore? It's a borrowing. What is borrowing? Fiscal deficit is equal to borrowing. See, whatever shortages you are getting, that itself you are going to borrow. So here we cannot calculate this. Why? Because they are not given the value of non-debt capital receipt, but directly they are given borrowing. So what is borrowing? Fiscal deficit is equal to borrowing. If they had given this non-debt capital receipt, then we would have calculated in another way. Okay. Now, if they are given non-debt capital receipt, then this FD should be equal to what? Borrowing. But they are not given. Now, what we will do? Fiscal deficit is equal to borrowing. So here, directly in the question itself, they have mentioned about 10,000 crore. Fiscal deficit is 10,000 crore. This is correct. This is correct. There is no doubt in it. Because when you apply this formula, FD is equal to PE minus RR plus NDCR. Let's assume you will get some 1 lakh rupees. Okay, 1 lakh. Okay. So this 1 lakh itself you will borrow. Okay, you will borrow. So FD will always be equal to what? Borrowing. Okay, borrowing. So here 10,000 crore is a fiscal deficit. The third option, what is the formula for primary deficit? Fiscal deficit minus interest payment. So fiscal deficit, so primary deficit is fiscal deficit minus interest payment. So fiscal deficit is 10,000 crore, interest payment is 6,000 crore. So what's the answer? 4,000 crore, right? So here in this question, what's the answer? 1, 2 and 3. Okay. See, this is the first time they are asked such kind of question. Means they are given some values and they are expecting us to solve it. But whether it's an easy or tough question, It's a very easy question. Once we understand the concepts, it's a very, very easy question. Okay, very, very easy question. So it deals on what? Revenue deficit, fiscal deficit, primary deficit. Which are the other deficits that we have discussed? Apart from these? Yes, only these three important we have discussed. Revenue, capital and, sorry, we have discussed about capital deficit. We have discussed about, no, we have not discussed about capital deficit kind of thing. Okay, no. So all the things we have discussed at one point, capital receipt, revenue receipt, next revenue expenditure, capital expenditure. So in those discussion itself we have included. So very important. Okay, very important. Next year, a similar kind of question on the same topic. Okay, there were multiple questions. So this is second question. A country's fiscal deficit stands at 50,000 crores. So already he has given 50 is equal to fiscal deficit is equal to 50,000. It is receiving 10,000 crores through non-debt creating capital receipts. Okay, non-debt creating capital receipts. The country's interest liabilities are 1,500 crores. Okay, so non-debt capital receipt is equal to 10,000 crore. Interest liabilities is equal to 1,500 crores. What is the gross primary deficit? So what he is asking? Primary deficit. So primary deficit is equal to fiscal deficit minus interest payment. So what is the fiscal deficit? 50,000. What is the interest payment? 1,500. What is the answer? 48,500. Yes. Any mistake? 15,000, 1,500. Just check it. I think it's 1,500. 1,500. Okay. See here, in this question, this is the dummy data that they have given. There is no relevance of this data. We are not going to use this data. Just they have given just to confuse us. Means to what extent you have an understanding. So this data is completely dummy data in this question. Okay. So the 10,000 just they have given just to confuse us. But here the answer is 48,500. Now those who do not have the idea, what they will do, somewhere for this 50,000 rupees, they will add 10,000, then they will subtract, they will do some kind of exercises. But if you are aware of the concepts, it's very easy. Primary deficit is equal to fiscal deficit minus interest payment. Answer is 48,500. Very easy question. Okay. So once UPSC frames such kind of questions, then there are very less chances that they are going to frame similar kind of questions in 2026. But still, we need to have an understanding of these basic concepts. Okay, basic concepts. Now, these answers you cannot answer with the help of the recent economic survey or budget. This is about conceptual clarity. This is static part. Okay, this is a static part, and this we have to understand. Okay, this we have to understand. Very easy question. Okay. So whether this question is clearly visible, those who are joining online mode, please.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All the statements are clearly visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Which of the following statements with regard to the recommendations of the 15th Finance Commission of India are correct? It has recommended grants of 4,800 crores from the year 2022 to 23 to the year 25-26 for the incentivizing states to enhance educational outcomes. 45% of the net proceeds of the union taxes are to be shared with the states. 45,000 crores are to be kept as performance-based incentive for all states for carrying out agricultural reforms. It reintroduced tax effort criteria to reward fiscal performance. See here, Finance Commission is a very important topic. If you look at the past 5 years, there have been at least 2 to 3 questions either directly or indirectly on Finance Commission. Okay, so we have discussed in detail about the functions of Finance Commission, right? So what all things it is involved in, and also we have discussed about the criteria of the 15th Finance Commission. Okay, UPSC focus on 15th Finance Commission criteria, and also in 2022 or 23 they asked a question as well. Now here, first before discussing this question, you should tell me, to this question the options have been set as 1, 2 and 3 and so on. Can they set an option like this? How many of the above are correct? Only 1, only 2, all 3, all 4, none. Why? Yes. They cannot set such kind of options to this question. Okay, they cannot set. See here, for 2022-23, the question paper is in 2025. So can you go and refer to 2022-23 how much they have given amount exactly? 4,800 crores and all. It's practically not possible. Now, when you go through the budget of this year, you have the exact figures, how much we have spent on agriculture, how much we have spent on health, how much we have spent on education and agriculture, all those things we have detailed. But whether it is practically possible to retain the content related to figures, it's not possible. You can retain the percentage as a percentage of GDP, 2%, 3%. This information you should retain, and also it is beneficial both from prelims as well as mains point of view, because in mains when you are substantiating your answer, you need to quote those values. But here these absolute values are not important. Okay. Now this is the point where we should not derail our process. Now what happens in some of the, I will not say institutes, in some of the other mock test, what they will do is they will set such kind of options, and what they will do, how many of the above are correct. Now what an aspirant will do, he will skip the important aspect and he will start focusing on what insignificant data and all, which is not important from exam point of view. Here very important key point to eliminate is what? Yes, so we know that it is 41%. The 15th Finance Commission, its recommendation is 41%. 41% of the net proceeds of the union taxes have to be shared with the states. See, Finance Commission repeatedly it has appeared. Okay, at least 2 to 3 times in the past 5 years the question has appeared, and we have a complete crystal clear idea that it is 41%. So when you eliminate this 2, when you eliminate this what? 2, you are left with what? Only one choice, that is 1, 3 and 5. Okay, 1, 3 and 5. Now see here, based on this question paper also, you are not going to memorize these values, not important. You are not going to memorize these values. It reintroduces the tax effort criteria to reward fiscal performance. Okay, now this is also not that important. Now what we will do is, from 2026 exam point of view, already in the newspaper, there are discussions with respect to what? 16th Finance Commission. So already it has proposed. So whether it is available in public, whether the government has accepted, then what we can prepare for this year is, 15th Finance Commission, already we know about the criteria. Similarly, if in the current affairs in the newspaper, if 16th Finance Commission related criteria, okay, is published, what we will do? We will prepare this and we will compare both of them. In 15th Finance Commission, it was 41%. So what is the recommendation in 16th Finance Commission? So we know about the 41% itself. Okay, whether it has been accepted by the government, just search it later on, whether it has been accepted by the government or not. Next, criteria. These were the criteria. Are there any other extra criteria added? Any criteria which has been dropped? So these things we'll prepare. Okay, these things we'll prepare. Again, the same Finance Commission previous year, whatever the notes we have, that itself we'll update. From 15th Finance Commission to 16th Finance Commission, we'll update. We are not interested in these values. Okay, we are not interested in these values. So here, out of curiosity, from mains point of view and all, what you can do is, to enhance educational outcomes, what you can do is, what is the percentage of GDP spending on education? Okay, what is the percentage of GDP being spent on agriculture? What is the percentage of GDP being spent on health? So these are the 3 things which you can note down from the current year's economic survey or budget. And for this, you need not read the content. Just search in the internet. Okay, so what is the spending on health as a percentage of GDP as per the 2026 economic survey? What is the spending on education as a percentage of GDP as per the recent economic survey? Just update it. You need not go through each and every line of economic survey. You need not go through each and every line of budget. Okay, budget. So here, this is the point which will help us to eliminate. Okay, eliminate. Next, consider the following statements in respect of RTGS and NEFT. So in RTGS, the settlement time is instantaneous, while in case of NEFT, it takes some time to settle payments. In RTGS, the customer is charged for inward transactions, while that is not the case for NEFT. Operating hours for RTGS are restricted on certain days, while this is not true for NEFT. Okay. So what is the full form of NEFT and RTGS? RTGS is real time gross transfer. NEFT is, what is the full form of NEFT? Yes.
National Electronic Fund Transfer.
Fund transfer, national electronic fund transfer. Now, previous year this content was missing. So this year what I have done means only some content was there. I add all the content. So this comes under what? Payment and settlement system. Okay, payment and settlement system. So RTGS is there, NEFT is there. There are many other things which I added. I added UPI. I added what? IMPS. There are many other things which I added in the notes. You can go through that content. Okay, you can go through that content. The first thing that we need to know is who operates who. Means this UPI and IMPS, they are operated by whom? NPCL, National Payment Corporation of India. Okay. Next, when it comes to RTGS and NEFT, they are operated by whom? They are operated by RBI. Okay, RBI. Now, prior to UPI and all, before the arrival of UPI and all, majority of the transactions used to take place with the help of RTGS and NEFT. Okay, RTGS and NEFT. So here, the basic difference we need to know. So RTGS and NEFT. So what happens in RTGS? It is real time. As soon as you send the money, so the other person will receive the money. Okay, it is instantaneous. Okay, it's instantaneous. Whereas in case of NEFT, so half an hour batches will be run. Whatever the transaction has taken place now, after half an hour, one batch will run and all the transactions will complete. So it means there is a slight delay in case of NEFT. There is no delay in case of RTGS. So related to that, some extra information I have added. You need not go through each and every information. Just superficially you scan through that list. So in RTGS, the settlement time is instantaneous, while in NEFT, it takes some time to settle payments. True. In RTGS, the customer is charged for inward transactions, while that is not the case for NEFT. Okay. So this is false in both the cases. In both RTGS as well as NEFT, there is no charge for inward or outward. Especially when it comes to online transaction, so there is no charge. So when it comes to offline branches, okay, through offline, if you want to do NEFT and all, some branches may what charge you, but generally what it is free. So whether it is inward or outward, it is free, both in case of RTGS as well as NEFT. Okay, NEFT. So it is false. False. Operating hours for RTGS are restricted on certain days, while this is not true for NEFT. Okay, so there is no restriction on the operating hour. Both the systems operate what? 24/7 and 365 days. Okay, so there is no holiday for it. Okay, there is no holiday for it for both NEFT as well as RTGS. Okay, RTGS. Now similarly, for some aspects I have prepared for UPI, I have prepared for IMPS, I have prepared for few other settlement system. Now when it comes to UPI, whether it's instantaneous or delayed, it's again, don't, sir, many times when I go to tea shop and do the payment, sometimes it gets delayed. See, that's an exception, but generally it's instantaneous. Okay, it's instantaneous. So UPI is what? Transaction is instantaneous. How about IMPS? Instantaneous. Now see, the things which we use in our day-to-day life, we are very much aware of it. But the things which we do not use in our day-to-day life, we are not aware. Okay, we are not aware. So for them also I have prepared. Okay, even if I have missed out, these are the basic things which you will ask to yourself. Whether some charges are involved, yes or no, and whether it is instantaneous or it will consume some time, and who operates them. Okay, who operates them? See, this is not the first time that such a question is appearing. So such questions, related questions have already appeared. Probably in 2017 or 18, they asked a question about who among the following is involved in connecting all the ATMs in India. NPCI. So which is a term called as, technical term, which is a service called as? National Financial Switch. Okay, so from this we can conclude that these kind of questions are not totally a new pattern. It's an existing pattern itself, but again repeatedly they are not going to ask you about National Financial Switch. They have to change the question. So in that fashion, this question, it completely fits into the existing exams demand. Okay, exams demand, and based on this question, we'll also prepare the other payment systems. Okay, other payment systems. So in next class, when I'll be asking about UPI or other systems, so you should be able to tell whether it involves some kind of delay or not, whether there is some cost involved. You should be able to identify, and you should be able to recall. Okay, recall it correctly. Okay. Now this is a question which has appeared in 2025. This is completely current affairs based question. The previous question is not current affairs based. Okay, we can consider it as part of static itself, but now this is current affairs based question. Consider the following countries. How many countries among the above are there other than India where international merchant payments are accepted under UPI? Okay, so UPI acceptance has already started taking place in few of the countries. Now this list, we already know the answer, but this is not sufficient for upcoming year in 2026. What we have to do, whether these are the only countries or some other countries have been added. Okay, have been added. So what is the answer here? UAE is there. Yes. France is there. Next, Germany. No. Singapore is there? Yes. Bangladesh? No. Okay. Germany? No. Now what you can do is, just out of curiosity, which are the countries which share their border with India and have started accepting UPI? See, when you start preparing this fashion, what happens? The information becomes organized and you can retain the information very easily. So Bangladesh has come. So countries sharing border with India and accepted UPI. Okay, what you will do, you will not do this exercise now. After 1 month, probably in the month of April, you will do it. Okay, because we believe that generally around 25 to 30 days back, the question papers are prepared and they are published. Okay, so keeping what such kind of assumption in mind, so we should prepare in the month of March end or April 1st and 2nd week. Okay, so countries sharing their border with India which have started accepting UPI. Now what we will do? UAE. So UAE comes under what? Middle East. Which are the Middle East countries? Okay, Middle East countries which have started accepting UPI. Okay, UPI. So which are the European countries? Which are the European countries which have started accepting? Okay. Now human mind, when you give some information, it will not stop. What it will do? It will search for North American countries. Whether it is right or wrong. It's perfectly right. You have to do it. Okay. In this context, you should not stop. You should do for North American countries. Which are the North American countries which have started accepting UPI? Which are the South American countries which have started accepting UPI? How about Australia? Yes, you'll search for it. How about Antarctica? Not required. How about what Arctica? Not required. Okay. So in this fashion, you will prepare. Which are the major Asian countries? Which are the major Asian countries? Russia, China, Japan. So have they started accepting UPI? In the examination, let's assume if they make China as an one of the options. So will China accept UPI? It will never accept UPI because it will not accept many social media sites of other countries. So it is not going to accept the payment system of India. So based on such logic, now you have to search for Russia. So generally we say, right, we have a very good relationship with Russia. Then Russia should have accepted UPI. Whether Russia accepts UPI or not. Whether Japan accepts UPI or not. So these are the various dimensions in which you will think and you will update the content in the month of April. It's completely current affairs based. Now see here, as a question has appeared, now will you prepare like this? Whether RTGS which all countries are accepted, whether NEFT which all countries are accepted, IMPS which all countries are accepted? No, you are not going to do that exercise because UPI is an innovation of India. Okay, it's an innovation of India and many countries have started adopting this system. Okay, adopting this system. Hence, we'll do this exercise only for UPI. We'll not extend it to other payment systems. Okay, again that we need to know. So this is a very important strategy. That also we need to know that where we have to stop. Okay, where we have to stop. Okay. So next, 2025 question paper discussion is over. Okay. So next we shall move with 2024. So what we will do today, whatever we have discussed 2025 question, each and every question you will go through, the brainstorming you will do. Okay, you will try to retain the content corresponding to those questions. You will become perfect. So this will boost your confidence. Anything related to these questions, if a question appears in 2026, at least 1 or 2 questions you will be able to answer confidently. And once this confidence is boosted with respect to all the subjects, automatically your score will increase. Okay, your score will increase. So next 2024 question. So Doni Polo Airport, Kushinagar International Airport, Vijayawada International Airport. In the recent past, which of the above have been constructed as greenfield projects? Now, this question can be classified within economics under which subtopic? Monetary policy, infrastructure, in that sense. Infrastructure. Okay, infrastructure. And if you look at the pattern, the recent year pattern and all, so they have focused on infrastructure related questions. No doubt the nature of questions are different, but questions they do focus on infrastructure. Now here first we need to understand what is a greenfield project. What is greenfield project? Okay, completely when you start from the scratch, we call it as a greenfield project. So already existing project, existing infrastructure, if you modify it, we call it as brownfield project. So in the examination, do you think that they will be focusing on brownfield projects? Generally no, they will be focusing on greenfield projects itself. Okay, projects itself. But there are so many greenfield projects in India, so they cannot focus on each and every aspect. Now, which are the airports which have been recently constructed? Okay, completely greenfield. Now, one is you will either go through the newspaper of 1 year, so which we have not done. Now, the only option left is what we can go through the magazines of some other institutes. But one magazine of 1 month is of this much size, and 12 months will become such a huge material, and it will be difficult for you to go through each and every line. So best source, what we can do is we can go through Press Information Bureau. And previous year also, when we did this exercise for the past 2 to 3 years, we were able to locate. Okay, we were able to locate. So which ministry, with respect to airport, which ministry PIB you have to refer? Ministry of Civil Aviation. So Ministry of Civil Aviation, you will prepare for minimum 3 years. Okay, that is 2025, 2024 and 2023. Okay, 23. So they are listed many greenfield projects, but you will not focus on all of them. You will focus on the greenfield projects which have been operationalized. See, there are greenfield projects which have been proposed. They are not yet operationalized. They are not yet got operationalized. For example, now Bijapur Airport, can we call it as a greenfield project?
Yes, sir.
Yes, it's a greenfield project because previously there did not exist any kind of infrastructure. Bijapur Airport is a greenfield project. Now, whether it has been operationalized? No, not yet. Okay. Once if it gets operationalized, then it will become important from exam point of view. So the best source would be PIB 3 years. So Ministry of Civil Aviation will prepare. Okay, will prepare and we'll just make a list of the greenfield projects which have been operationalized. So why we are focusing on operationalized? Because we want to reduce the content. Okay, we want to reduce the content. So that we'll do. Okay, so in this example already we are aware. What's the answer here? 1 and 2. Okay, 1 and 2. But again, this is not going to help. What we are doing, the content that we are going to prepare based on this, that is going to help. Okay. Now, out of curiosity, we'll just search. Where is Doni Polo Airport present? Arunachal Pradesh, Kushinagar, Uttar Pradesh. Similarly, the next list which we are going to prepare, you will also add the corresponding state where they are present. Okay, where they are present. Okay. Next, with reference to the Indian economy, collateral borrowing and lending obligations are the instruments of bond market, forex market, money market, stock market.
Money market.
We have discussed. Now what you have to do? You have forgot because almost 1 or 2 months have elapsed since our discussion on what? Money market, especially for the new batch. And old batch students probably from the past 8 to 9 months, they might have not opened the book of economy itself. Okay. Now you have to open it back. So you have to, which topics you have to read?
Money market.
Money market. So now, which are the instruments of money market? Economic subject. Okay, it's not geography, it's economy. Okay, in money market, which are the what instruments? Repos, treasury bills, commercial paper, certificates of deposit, cash management bills, and CBLO. So these are the money market instruments. So at least basic these things you should know. And next step, what is the difference between these instruments? So you can go through the content, or if you want to watch the previous videos, you can watch even previous videos as well. From this we understand that it is a money market instrument. Okay, money market instrument. Just a quick revision to what differentiate these markets. So money market, what is money market? When you are borrowing money for a tenure of less than 1 year, then you will go for money market. Okay, money market. Then stock market, it is part of which market? It is called as part of capital market. So when we say capital market, okay, then we will be raising fund for a period of more than 1 year. Okay, more than 1 year. Next, bond market. It's part of capital market. Bond market and stock market, both of them, they are part of capital market. Okay. Forex market. Money market or capital market? It's a separate market. Forex market is a separate market. Forex market, bond market, money market, stock market. So even though we will not be going into the detailed aspects, but at least at this point of time, we should be able to recall who regulates the bond market in India. Okay, here both RBI plus SEBI, because when I say bond market, which all come under bond market? Government bonds as well as corporate bonds. Okay, the corporate bonds are regulated by, managed by SEBI. The government bonds are managed by RBI. So when it comes to bond market, both SEBI and RBI are involved. Okay, just basic. Okay, some basic things. Next, forex market. It's purely RBI. When it comes to forex market, it is purely RBI. See, when I say question paper based preparation, it's not about just by hitting the answers. It is going into its background, okay, and connecting all the dots and framing about holistic picture. Okay, holistic picture, that is very important. Next, money market. It's purely RBI. Stock market, purely SEBI. See here, when you do this exercise, it will boost your confidence. Okay, it will boost your confidence. And once in a while, what you have to do is you have to have a discussion with the aspirants who are not residing in Bagalkot at some other place. Then your confidence will be boosted to much more greater extent, because you will understand, you will realize that you are far ahead than them. Okay, you are far ahead of them, all the other aspirants. Okay, so you need not have any kind of inferiority complex. Next, the total fertility rate in the economy is defined as
Number of population born per
number of
children born per
The average number of last life
the average number of live births a woman would have by the end of her childbearing age. Okay. Now we already know this answer, but how this question is going to become a base to prepare for the upcoming year? What are the other such parameters which we will prepare? So here in the question itself, we will get some clue. What is birth rate? For what population you will calculate? 1,000, 2,000, 10,000, 1 lakh. 1,000. Death rate? 1,000. Next, similarly, which are the other aspects that you will prepare? Yes. Infant mortality rate. Next, maternal mortality rate. Next. Yes. Okay, you can focus on neonatal as well as neonatal mortality rate. Next. Sufficient. At least few of these important things we'll prepare, and when you are preparing, probably what new questions might arise in your mind, and based upon that you can add it. Okay, you can add it. So based on this question, we'll prepare for some extra things as well. Okay, so here, apart from the definition, you will also write down the absolute values. Okay. So what is the total fertility rate in India? Okay. That is, replacement rate is exactly 2.1, but India it is less than 2. Okay, as per the National Family Health Survey. So in prelims, whether they'll ask or not, the chances are very rare. But still, I'll urge you to write down the values, and these values which we are writing, it should be a recent value. Okay, recent value. Similarly, we'll write for maternal mortality rate. Okay, so maternal mortality rate, whether it is for 1,000 or 1 lakh. Next, infant mortality rate, 1,000. Next, neonatal mortality rate. Okay, so you will write down the values as well. Apart from definition, you will also write down the values as well. Okay, values as well. Okay. So consider the following statements. In India, non-banking financial companies can access the liquidity adjustment facility window of the Reserve Bank of India. In India, foreign institutional investors can hold the government securities. In India, stock exchanges can offer separate trading platforms for debts. Okay, debts. So I think previous year there was a small mistake in the notes. So this year I updated the content. Okay, so at that time I had not got a clear source of information, but now I have got it and I updated the same. Okay, so when it comes to liquidity adjustment facility, so where do we hear about this term called liquidity adjustment facility? Monetary policy instruments. So just can you quickly recall the monetary policy instruments? Repo rate, reverse repo rate, corridor, CRR, SLR, CAR, capital adequacy ratio. No. Capital adequacy ratio, whether it is part of monetary policy? No, it's not part of it. CRR is there? Yes. SLR is there? Okay. Next. Liquidity adjustment facility is there? Yes. Marginal standing facility is there? Yes. Standing deposit facility is there? So all those things are there. So liquidity adjustment facility window of the Reserve Bank of India. So who all can access liquidity adjustment facility? So under this liquidity adjustment facility, so purchasing and selling of repos will take place. Okay. So who all can participate in liquidity adjustment facility? Banks. Okay. Banks can do it. Now from this question point of view, NBFCs cannot. In India, non-banking financial companies, they cannot access the liquidity adjustment facility window. Okay, facility window. Now see here, whether we have to proceed or we have to stop, we have to take an individual decision. Now see, when it comes to proceeding, again we need to know where we have to stop. Now see, when I say about banks, whether all banks, all scheduled commercial banks, yes or no, you'll search it. How about private banks? Yes or no? How about foreign banks which are operating in India? Yes or no? How about cooperative banks? How about primary agricultural credit societies? No. See, to what extent we are going to dig it, again it is left to us. Okay, in the first go, what we will do, they are applicable to banks, they are not applicable to NBFC. In the second round, if you have time, what you will do, well, you'll just make a list. How about scheduled commercial banks? Yes. How about private banks? Yes. How about foreign banks? Yes or no? How about cooperative banks? Yes or no? How about PACS, primary agricultural credit societies? So in this fashion, question paper driven, that brainstorming you will do. Okay, so this exactly is the what examination strategy, because majority of these terms are from newspaper itself. But in newspaper you will not find the explanation. In newspaper, when they write an article, they assume that the person who is reading the article is already well aware of all these concepts. Okay, but you are not aware, so you will go into its background. Okay, into its background. So this will be the strategy for the next year. So one is false, because in India non-banking financial companies cannot access the liquidity adjustment facilities. Then who can access? Banks can access. Okay, banks can access. Who else can access? We will search it. Okay, we will search it. And also in the notes I have updated the same. Okay. In India, foreign institutional investors can hold the government securities. Very important. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Government securities
False.
they can hold. Okay. Foreign institutional investors, they can hold government securities. Now the question will come, who can purchase government securities? Again you are getting confused here. FDI is not, when a foreigner purchases a government security, it is not considered as FDI. FDI can happen only when they purchase the share of a private or a company, not the government. See, government securities are different from shares of a company. Okay, see here. Now, if I take an example of HAL, it's a PSU. It's a PSU. Next, if I take TCS, it's a private company. So, when a foreigner comes and invests in TCS, can we call it as FDI? Yes. If a foreigner comes and invests in HAL, can we call it as FDI? Yes. It will be called as FDI. But if a foreigner comes, again see, there are restrictions as well. Whether they can invest in that sector or not, that is separate. But can a foreigner come and invest in a government company? Yes. Will it be considered as a FDI? Yes. Okay, yes. Now, when a foreigner comes, can he buy government securities? Yes. So, government securities, foreigner can buy, Indian companies can buy, Indian retailers can buy. So individuals like us, we can buy. Okay, we can buy. So all of these entities listed, they can purchase government securities. Now I'll frame a question like this: can LIC purchase government security?
Yes, sir.
Can TCS purchase government security? Yes, if they want, they can purchase. Can State Bank of India purchase government security? Yes or no? Okay. Can I purchase government security? Yes, I can purchase. Okay. So any one of us, we can purchase government securities. Similarly, when a foreigner comes to India, and a foreign institution like, let's say, assume Amazon. So can it purchase government security? Yes, it can purchase government security. So when a foreigner comes to India and purchase government security, will it be called as FDI?
No.
No, there is no link for FDI and foreigners purchasing government security. Only when they purchase the shares of the government company or a private company, then it will be qualified as FDI. Also, if certain thresholds are met. Okay, not all investment is considered as foreign direct investment, because there is a difference between foreign direct investment and portfolio investment. Okay, in order to understand that difference, you can go back to the class where we have discussed about the difference between foreign direct investment and foreign portfolio investment. So second one is perfectly right. In government, foreign institutional investors can hold the government securities. Now what we will do, these extra things all we will add to the content. Apart from foreign institutional investors, who all can purchase government securities? Okay, so all of them, they can purchase government securities. In India, stock exchanges can offer separate trading platform for debt. So debt means bonds. Now question is, when we want to purchase a stock, what we will do? We will purchase it from stock market. If we want to purchase bonds, then where we have to go? In the same stock market itself, okay, they have created a separate platform where you can purchase bonds. Next question, if you want to participate in forex market, where you will go? I'm just giving a clue. Bond market, okay, separate platform is being offered by the stock exchanges itself. If someone wants to participate in the forex market, then where do we get the platform? Yes. Whether they will offer the platform for, whether stock exchanges will offer the platform for trading in what forex currencies as well, that you have to search. Okay, that you have to search. That continuously different kind of searching angle is very important from the exam point of view. Okay, if I want to purchase some kind of foreign currencies, if I want to participate in the foreign currency market, then which is the platform that I have to which is the platform in which I have to participate. Okay, I have to participate. So here both second 2 and 3 are correct. One is false. Okay, one is false. Okay, in India, which of the following can trade in corporate bonds and government securities? See here, almost similar kind of question. In the same year, it has appeared. Similar kind of question. Okay, so what is an example of a corporate bond? The bond which is issued by TCS or a bond which has been issued by Infosys is an example of a corporate bond. Similarly, if a bond is issued by a government company, can you recall one example of a government company? Oil India Corporation Limited. It's a government company, public sector undertaking. Okay, so all of them, they are what? Now here OICL bond, can it be called as a government security? No, it's a corporate bond itself. Okay, government security means when they sell the securities and get the money. Okay, get the money for some other spending purposes. It may be some construction of road or subsidies and all. So it will directly go to government. In case of OICL bond, when they sell the bonds and they get the money, it will not go to government. It will go to OICL. Even though OICL is a government company itself, but it will not go to Consolidated Fund of India. Here, in case of government securities, where the fund will go? Consolidated Fund of India. Okay. So what the government will do? Whenever it requires money, it will take the help of RBI. It will create some securities. Okay, so what is securities? How it will create all these things we have discussed in detail in the regular classes. So if you are not aware of it, I will urge you to watch those videos. So government securities, government will create. So RBI will create on behalf of government and it will sell it. After selling, whatever the money comes, so where does it go? It goes into the Consolidated Fund of India. Okay, Consolidated Fund of India. Now, insurance companies. Can an insurance company like LIC, can it buy the shares of TCS? Yes. Can it, bonds of TCS? Yes. Can it buy bonds of OICL? Yes. Can it buy the bond of Infosys? Yes. The same LIC, can it purchase government securities? Yes. Next, pension funds. Okay, there are so many pension funds. See here, every month from your salary, some amount will be deducted, which will be credited to your pension account. So whether that money will be sitting idle?
No.
If that money sits idle, then how you are going to get returns after 60 years, right? So that money has to perform. That money has to be invested somewhere in the share, somewhere in the bond. So how exactly the investment takes place, we shall not worry about it. But there is some share of that amount which will go into bonds. See here, now pension fund, some amount will they invest in these corporate bonds? Yes. Some amount will they invest in government securities? Yes. In government securities and corporate bonds. So which one is guaranteed? In which one we can definitely say that there will come some returns? Government securities. In which one they can face losses? Corporate. Okay, if the corporate does not perform well, if the company closes down, then they may not receive money. But here the trust will be more on government securities. When it comes to corporate bonds and government securities, generally the rate of interest offered will be more in case of corporate bonds or government securities. Corporate bonds. Why? Because at the same time the risk also is very high in corporate bonds. Okay, so all these things we should be able to connect. Okay, you should be able to connect. So pension funds, they will invest in both government bonds as well as corporate bonds as well as government securities. Next, retail investors. And individual like Rajesh. So whether can we invest in bonds? Yes. Through which platform? Who will provide the platform to purchase? Banks. Stock exchanges. Okay, stock exchange. Again, banks also may provide. Next, government securities. So see here, this question had appeared in 2021 also. In 2021, a new scheme was introduced, RBI Retail Direct Scheme. Previously, we could not directly purchase government securities. Okay, there was some intermediate through that we could purchase. Now, by directly opening an account with the RBI, what we can do? We can directly purchase government securities. When it comes to purchasing of government securities, so whether retail investors can purchase government securities only from the secondary market or also from the primary market? Okay, see here. Now I introduced a new term in this question. Retail investors, primary market, secondary market. Now this primary market and secondary market term, whether it extends only with what it exists only with respect to government securities or also for corporate bonds. For corporate bonds also there is a primary market and secondary market. Now my question is, so retail investors, can they participate in government securities primary market? Yes. Can they participate in government securities secondary market? Yes. What is the platform used to participate in government securities primary market? What is the platform used by the retail investors to participate in the secondary market of government securities? Same. Whether pension funds can participate only in the primary market or secondary market or both? Both. How about insurance companies? Both. So based on this question, these are the various peripheral aspects that we have to touch. So when we touch it, what happens? That information it will become holistic. The confidence will be boosted. In the next year, if a similar kind of question appears, then we'll be able to touch that question with full confidence. Okay, full confidence. Okay. Consider the following: exchange traded funds, motor vehicles, currency swap. Which of the above is are considered as financial instruments? Okay, financial instruments. So here, answer we already know. So motor vehicles, it cannot be considered as a financial instrument. So exchange traded funds is a financial instrument. Currency swap is a financial instrument. Similarly, we can make out few more list of financial instrument. So stock, can we call it as an example of financial instrument? Yes. Bond can be called as an example of a financial instrument. Debentures. Yes. Few more things we list. Okay. And if you are able to identify, that is sufficient. So motor vehicle, obviously it's not a financial instrument. Okay, it's not a financial instrument. When you sell a motor vehicle, you will get money, but it is not considered as a financial instrument. Okay, financial instrument. Now just don't try to jump into the exact definition of financial instrument and all. Just application level question it is. So from this we can conclude that 1 and 3 are part of the answer, whereas motor vehicle is not part of it.
Exchange traded funds will
Exchange traded funds. Okay, so exchange traded funds we'll be discussing later on in a separate context. We shall have a discussion about it separately. Okay, because for them also we have not discussed about exchange traded funds. Okay. Yes. No. Gold. Gold, can it be considered as a financial instrument? We have to check it. Okay, whether gold is a the question which you have raised is a very valid question. So what we will do? You'll just list it and you'll just check whether gold is considered as a financial instrument or not. Okay, because gold is very easily, it's a liquid instrument. So can we consider it as a financial instrument or not? I think probably no, but just check it once. Yes. No? Okay. Now see, you have raised a very valid question. So all of you just note it down. So gold is not considered as a financial what? Instrument. Okay. It's not considered as a financial instrument. Okay. So next we have this question. So with reference to the sectors of the Indian economy, consider the following pairs. Okay. Consider the following pairs. So storage of agricultural produce, dairy farm, mineral exploration, weaving, cloth. Okay, weaving cloth. Okay. So see these questions, some of these basic questions we can even answer with the help of NCERT as well. Okay, through NCERTs also we can answer, but that does not mean that we have to refer only NCERT. Why? Because whatever the other concepts that we have discussed, so none of those concepts are present in NCERT. Okay, NCERT. So for just 1 or 2 concepts, we'll not go into the what aspects of NCERT. They're very, very generic. Okay, very, very generic. When it comes to economic sectors, generally we'll classify into agriculture, manufacturing, services. Okay, and also primary, secondary, and tertiary. So in detail we have discussed in the top in our regular classes. So primary sector. So what all will come under primary sector? Agriculture, mining, next quarrying. All of them they come under what? Primary. Next, secondary. Wherever some kind of processing takes place, okay, we call it as what? Secondary sector. Manufacturing is part of secondary. When it comes to tertiary, okay, services come under tertiary sector. So in detailed, okay, if you want, you can just go through the class. Now what we can do here is just question based. So storage of agricultural produce, okay, storage, it comes under services, it comes under tertiary. So option secondary they have mentioned, it is wrong. Okay, it's wrong. So agriculture related, what can be considered as secondary? An example.
Farming.
Yes. No, harvesting, that is part of primary itself. Yes. Okay, some basic processing. Can you give me an example of a processing? Yes, butter, curd. Okay, all those things, if they are considered as part of processing and they are secondary related activities. Okay. Now next, okay, if you
Allied activities.
yes, allied activities. Example of allied activities. Okay, livestock and poultry. Okay, you should tell me livestock and poultry whether they are part of primary or secondary. Yes, primary. Yes, they are primary. Now, out of this milk, now milk is a okay. Now, out of milk, when you prepare curd and when you sell it, or when you make some other entity, then it will be part of primary or secondary. It will be secondary. Okay, it will be secondary. Now, okay. Similarly, dairy farm. Yes. So, what? How do you differentiate between primary and secondary?
Secondary is manufacturing.
No, not exactly manufacturing. Okay, some kind of processing, if it takes place, then we call it as secondary. Okay, we call it as secondary. So, dairy farm. Okay, so for example, livestock and the milk which you extract out of it. So, all this is part of primary or secondary? It is part of what? Primary. Okay, primary. Dairy farm is what? Part of primary. How about poultry? Primary. Okay. See here, some questions will, confusions will prevail. What you will do is, you will complete this exercise. Whatever questions will raise, you will continuously try to search them. Then you will build a clarity. Okay, you will build a clarity. Okay, you can just make a list of different activities which are considered as primary from the agricultural sector. From agricultural sector, which activities are considered as part of secondary. In that fashion, you can make a list. Okay, you can make a list. Next, mineral exploration. This you can tell very confidently. It is primary. Here they are mentioned as tertiary. Wrong. Weaving cloth.
Secondary.
Okay, weaving cloth, it's a secondary. It is correct. Okay, it is correct.
Sir, ಅದು farms ನಾಗ crops ಗೆ clean ಮಾಡೋದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ machine use ಮಾಡಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಅದು consider.
Okay. So that harvesting process you are saying. Okay, so that is primary itself. That is not a secondary.
Crop ಬಂದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ clean ಮಾಡೋದು.
Yes, that is primary activity itself. After doing it, if you make a packet and if you start selling, then it will come under secondary. Now, basic whatever the cleaning process is there, it will be part of primary itself. Okay, as part of harvesting. So whatever the basic cleaning process is there, that is a primary activity itself. Okay, primary activity itself. But if you make a brand, if you create a brand out of it, and if you make a 50 kg packet or 10 kg packet, and if you start selling it, it will become a secondary activity. Okay, it will become a secondary activity. Okay, so weaving cloth is this secondary. Okay, secondary. So what's the answer for this? Official answer for this? Two and?
Only two, sir.
Only two? Okay, okay, only two means fourth and
Second.
second. Okay, second and fourth.
Storage, tertiary.
Storage will come under tertiary. It will come under tertiary. So storage will come under tertiary. Next, services like what? Insurance will come under services. Okay, tertiary. All of them, they will come under what? Tertiary. Okay, tertiary. Transportation will come under tertiary. Okay, tertiary. Yes. No, just the search and just I made a statement. In the form of exchange traded funds. Okay. Okay.
When it's considered to that, we investing in the form of money.
Okay.
And by the gold, they are considered as financial.
Okay, then we'll cross verify it. Okay, because whatever she mentioned, based upon that, I came to a conclusion.
Gold in what form it can be taken as non-financial. Like jewelry is a non-financial domain.
That I will go through that content. Then we shall have a discussion once again. Because presently I am not gone to that level, but I will go into it. Okay, gold, whether it is considered as a financial instrument or not. Okay, in that case, a jewelry should also be considered as a financial instrument. Will we consider jewelry as a financial instrument or not? We know that it is considered as a what asset, but can it be considered as a financial instrument or not? So see, ETF is different. So ETF in case of exchange traded fund, so there we come across a different concept. We'll be discussing later on. Okay, ETF and all we'll be discussing later on. We'll be connecting it. Okay, so this question we shall discuss. So it's already 12. Last question. Okay, so with reference to the physical capital of the Indian economy, consider the following pairs. So farmer's fluff, okay, a computer, yarn used by the weaver, petrol. So the classification between what? Fixed capital and working capital. Okay, fixed capital and working capital. So fixed capital means it will help you to what? Produce more. Okay, working capital on day-to-day basis. So with the help of example itself, we will be able to demonstrate the difference between working capital and fixed capital. So here, farmer's pluff, whether it's a fixed capital. Yes. So pluff, whether you'll use only in one season? No. In multiple season, that asset will stay with you for a longer period of time. So pluff is an example of working what? Fixed capital. Okay, fixed capital. So this pair is wrong. So in the farmer's pluff, we can also add tractor. Tractor is considered as a fixed capital. Okay, fixed capital. So for every season, if you have to replace, then it is what more or less it's like a what working capital itself. Now computer. So in this room, if we consider, so this what interactive panel is a fixed capital. How about camera? It's also fixed capital. Okay, fixed capital. Next, yarn used by the weaver. What is yarn? Okay, threads which are used by the weaver. So whether it's a fixed capital or working capital. Okay, because this thread, using this thread, you will prepare some material, you will sell it. Okay, you'll sell it. So the machine which is used to prepare a cloth out of thread is considered as a fixed capital. But here the yarn which is used, the thread which is used, is part of working capital. So this is working capital. Again, this pair is also wrong. Okay. Next, petrol. It's part of the working capital. Okay, working capital. So similarly, if you can come across few other examples where it may lead to confusion, and if you are able to overcome that confusion, that would be sufficient. Okay, that would be sufficient. So, okay. So here the answer is this one is wrong. Okay, second and fourth one are correct. Okay, only two. Okay, only two. So again, a very important topic. So here they are focused on physical capital. They are focused on physical capital. Apart from physical capital, if you refer to the previous year question papers, they are focused on other types of capital. They are focused on, for example, financial capital. They are focused on social capital. Different types of capitals. Again, those terms are also equally important. Next, when it comes to capital, again, they are also segregated like what? Some important 2023 or somewhere they asked a question as well. So different types of capital. Again, we will be discussing in subsequent discussions. Okay, discussions. But here, if we can generate more number of examples. So at least in the examination, we need to understand the basic terms. Okay, what is the meaning of pluff itself? If we don't know, then it will be difficult for us to answer. If we don't know what is the meaning of yarn, then it will be difficult to answer. Okay, so here it is based on vocabulary. The basic vocabulary, if we don't have, then we may know the answer, but we will not be able to answer it because you have not understood the question itself. Okay. Again, understanding these terms is also equally important. Okay, equally important. So what we'll do is today we'll stop here itself. So whatever the questions we have prepared, repeatedly we'll go through this question, and whatever the questions we have prepared in the whatever the topics we have covered in the past 3 days. So all these things you will repeatedly revise. At least daily you will give around half an hour time. Okay, and in the other time, whatever other subjects you are reading, you can just devote the time to those subjects. Okay, those subjects. So with these few discussions, we shall conclude today's class.